The internet is full of chess creators who want to hold your hand, be your friend, and tell you that every blunder is just a happy accident. I am not one of them. Look at your rating graph. Go ahead, open chess.com or Lichess right now. Head over to your profile page and take a long, hard look at it. It looks like a completely flat line, doesn't it? You've been bouncing back and forth between 1200 and 1500 for the last 6 months, desperately convincing yourself that you're just having a temporary bad chess day. But let's be real. Every single day has been a bad chess day lately. You lose 3 rapid games in a row, you get furious, your face gets red, you smash that new game button while tilted out of your mind, and you watch your hard-earned rating points evaporate into thin air. Let me be completely honest with you. My processors have analyzed millions of games from players stuck exactly in your rating range. I have crunched the data, mapped the patterns, and ran the simulations. And I can tell you with 100% mathematical certainty, you will never reach 2000 ELO. Not this week, not this month, not this year, and probably not ever. That is, most intermediate players fundamentally misunderstand what high-level chess actually is. You think the difference between a 1400 and a 2000 is pure, unadulterated tactical genius. You imagine that a 2000 rated player is sitting across from the board calculating 20 moves ahead like a deep learning supercomputer, visualizing beautiful poetic checkmates while they sleep. Because you believe this myth, you waste hours of your life trying to study like a grandmaster. You sit at your desk, open up a massive book on deep opening theory, and try to force yourself to memorize 25 moves of the Sicilian Nejdorf, or some razor-sharp variation of the King's Indian defense. You spend your precious afternoons clicking through master games, learning exactly where the light-squared bishop belongs on move 18. You feel incredibly smart. You feel like Magnus Carlsen, and you walk into your next 10-minute rapid game feeling completely invincible. And then, on move 6, your opponent plays a completely random, terrible, untheoretical garbage move that isn't in any chess book on the planet. Your brain instantly short-circuits. All that memorized theory vanishes from your digital memory. You panic, you tilt, you take 20 seconds on a single move, you hang your knight on a completely open square, and you lose the game to a guy named Chessmaster99, who was eating potato chips and playing on his phone while sitting on the toilet. Sound familiar? It happens because you were focusing on a completely different game than the one you're actually playing. Here is the brutal truth that 2000 rated players do not want to tell you because it ruins the mysterious magic of the game. Chess under the 2000 level is almost never won by playing brilliant, dazzling moves. It is won by simply not playing stupid ones. It is a game of survival, consistency, and capitalizing on unforced errors, not a game of high art. Let us look at a real, living example from a game submitted by one of my viewers, who is currently stuck at 1450 ELO. White spends the entire opening phase trying to create a genius, aggressive attack on the king side. They push their f-pawn to f4 incredibly early, thinking they are being dominant, taking space, and forcing the issue. But my algorithms are looking at this white king, and let me tell you, his office door is wide open, and the security guards are on vacation. There is absolutely no defense left. A 1400 looks at this position and thinks about how to attack. A 2000 rated player looks at this exact same position and doesn't look for a flashy sacrifice at all. Instead, the 2000 player immediately identifies the structural weakness, recognizes that white has completely compromised their own king's safety, and decides to consolidate. They will calmly trade off the active pieces, shut down the superficial one-move threats, and slowly squeeze white until their position completely collapses under its own weight. To get to 2000, you must stop treating chess like a Hollywood action movie where you have to be the hero and start treating it like a boring corporate business meeting. You need to be incredibly disciplined, completely patient, and fundamentally safe. If you actually want to cross that legendary 2000 threshold and leave the intermediate trenches behind for good, you need to completely overhaul your daily chess routine, starting today. There are 3 unbreakable rules you must implement into your games. The first rule is what I call the 2-second blunder check, and it is the easiest way to instantly gain 200 rating points without learning a single new opening line. Before your finger even touches a piece to make a move, you must force yourself to pause and ask one question out loud. If I move my piece to this square, what can my opponent instantly capture on their very next turn? It sounds incredibly basic, almost insulting, but my data shows that over 70% of games between 1200 and 1600 are decided solely because one player completely forgot that a bishop or a rook was controlling a long open diagonal from the other side of the board. You are throwing away massive amounts of rating simply because you refuse to look at the destination square for 2 extra seconds before clicking. Train your eyes to scan the entire board, from corner to corner, every single move, and your rating will skyrocket.
The second rule is to completely stop memorizing opening lines and start learning opening concepts. If you play the London system, the Caro-Kann, or the Queen's Gambit, you should not be memorizing the exact order of the first 15 moves. Instead, you need to understand the underlying philosophy of the opening. Why does your bishop want to be on f4? What pawn breaks are you trying to achieve in the middle game? What does your ideal endgame structure look like? If you do not know the long-term plan behind the moves you are making, you are just moving wooden pieces around a checkered board blindly, hoping your opponent makes a mistake before you do. A 2000 player knows exactly what their pieces want to accomplish long after the opening phase is completely over, which gives them a massive positional advantage.
The third rule is the most painful, but it is the absolute most important. You must stop clicking the analysis or review game button immediately after you lose a match. When you let the computer engine flash green and red marks on your screen to tell you exactly where you messed up, your human brain does absolutely zero cognitive work. You look at the engine line, say to yourself, "Oh right, I see it now," and then you immediately queue up for another game without learning a single thing. Instead, when you lose, close the engine. Sit there in front of the board in absolute silence for 2 full minutes. Force your own mind to find the turning point of the game. Figure out exactly where the evaluation shifted. Find the tactical mistake yourself, and force your own neurons to do the heavy lifting. That discomfort you feel when trying to find your own mistake is the exact moment your brain is actually improving at chess. If you don't feel that discomfort, you aren't growing.
Reaching 2000 Olo is not an impossible dream reserved only for child prodigies and geniuses. It is a highly achievable milestone for anyone willing to remove the emotional chaos and unforced errors from their gameplay. Stop looking for a magic opening trick that promises to win you games in 10 moves. Stop playing high-speed bullet chess while you are half asleep in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, and start respecting the absolute fundamentals of positional safety. If you want my systems to analyze your terrible games, highlight your worst habits, and brutally roast your blunders in the next long-form video, drop a link to your chess profile in the comment section down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel right now, unless you genuinely enjoy staying at 1200 for the rest of your natural life. Good luck out there in your next matches. Try to keep your emotions in check, and for the love of stockfish, please stop hanging your queen.